All right, nothing to it but to push the button and get started and say to you, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Listen, wherever you are in the world, this is where you're going to stop and get some clarity about your day. It's Yolanda at Dryerbuzz. And as you know, these are my first thoughts of the morning. Frog in my throat, one eye open. But actually, you know what? Let's push that to the side because we said this spring we were going to spring out of bed, get started into our day. So I started waking up a little bit early. My task, my deeds are about to change. Let me grab, you know what? I don't have the journal, but I do always have a journal right here in front of me because I was actually working to have a smaller journal in front of me that I was writing down. I've got to create some business assets and I was jotting down. So I'll just kind of use one of these pages. In fact, let me just rip a page from the book and then we'll transfer it to the journal because I don't want to have to stop and get up and go back. And one thing about it, it's hard to rip a page from the journal. Okay, so we have a blank sheet because I love staring at a blank sheet, trying to figure out what's the opportunities of the day. Because you know what? And I know people are trying to figure out, well, why are we journaling? Why are we writing this stuff down? Because it makes sense. One of the things we do is we make the day. Just today, just today, not life, not where you're gonna be in 5 years, just today, and not even the whole day. We're just talking about how to get out of bed. The rest of that is on you. We may uncover, we may discover, we may chart, we may plot, we may, we're definitely gonna do all of that. But for me, I don't know. It's just about getting out of bed. I can't handle everything else. Not right now. All I can do right now is figure out how to get out of bed. And I decided I would start having these conversations with you, open, honest, truthfully, transparently, and just come on here and talk. Because listen, if I didn't push this button, I literally would be sitting here talking to myself. And you're like, why is she talking to herself? Because I'm trying to figure out how to get out of bed. Not life, just how to get out of bed. Just that bite-sized morsel of planning and plotting our day. Not even that the day, how to get out of bed. And how I got out of bed was I left my phone in here. No, did I? Yeah, I left my phone in here because last night it died. I said, well, I'm going to charge it in the other room because what I don't want to do when I first wake up is reach for it. But then I forget, well, Yolanda, you got 4 or 5 other devices. So I still was able to reach for social media, but not even in a social capacity, just basically to respond to some things, some comments and things of content that I placed last night or early morning when I finally went to bed. So I had another device willing, able, seducing me to come to it. And so I've been on there. And then, of course, but I also had some people that I wanted to support this morning, keep maintaining relationships and so forth. So let me tell you this, a couple things before we get started so I don't forget at the end in case we have to rush off. First of all, you know that we are now supported. How to Get Out of Bed is supported by Natural Soap by Zakia. We had such a great conversation about soap yesterday because there was a trending topic about how people are bathing. Y'all are out there having this conversation about parts of your bodies you don't wash. And nobody on your timeline, no friend, family, or foe needed to know the parts that you don't wash frequently, often, daily, every day. And the dog is like, he's determined to be in with me. Ow! He's like, really? I got out of bed. Didn't mean he had to get out of bed. And so he followed me. So I thought, perfect segue each and every time. If anybody's talking about how to get out of bed and how to bathe, is to let you guys know about Natural Soap by Zakia. Now, those of you that are on the Periscope platform and on some of the others, you know that she is awesome in making home artisan, handcrafted, homemade, all hands in natural soap and in such a variety where I have not yet met a person that says that they have not tried it or they have not thought about trying it or they don't. I'm telling y'all, listen. Go and get your Natural Soap by Zakia. Now, I know you've already gone to the site, naturalsoapbyzakia.com. before you hit that checkout button, put in your discount code Dryerbuzz and save 10%. All right. And this weekend, she ships on the week. She ships on Saturday. She has shipping Saturday. She makes the product live. She packages it live. She ships it live. She's live streaming. Okay. That's how she grew her business, by live streaming. 3 years into it, she started making it for her own family. People, you show something online, people are like, well, I want some. Can I buy it? She has built an amazing business, and we're able to salute her this week because she's headed off as a national speaker at one of the national soap conferences, having leveraged social media to grow her business. Many people have done this, and one of the ways that she did it, of course, was through one of the books that I have, is 27 Answers to Grow Your Business. And so I'm very proud to always have a partnership, and then for her to be a supporter of, I was about to say natural soap, of how to get out of bed with Dryerbuzz. So we're glad to have. So again, if you need your discount code Dryerbuzz, use that code. I also have links that I do share online. But if you go there before we get off this podcast, use your discount code Dryerbuzz so that you can save 10% on your natural soap. Now, if you go down my timeline, if you listen today and you think, well, hey, wait, I want more of this. I want to subscribe. I want to follow. I want to like it. I want it in a podcast. I want it in audio so I can listen to it all throughout the house each and every morning. I want to find out what they have been talking about prior to this. You can go over to our timeline everywhere. Use the hashtag. You got a discount code Dryerbuzz. You also got a hashtag Dryerbuzz. It'll bring up all the content, because what's going to happen if you go into our archives, and look down our timeline, you're going to see three types of content. One is our daily podcast, which happens each day. I wake up with the breath of life. The sun comes through yonder window or not. The creek don't rise or not. If I'm up and I got internet connection, even if I don't, because there are days I don't. I'm like, wait, I don't have any connection in here. I'm trancing around the house trying to get connected and all those kinds of things, right? You're going to find a podcast, and we talk about, again, just how to get out of bed, right? But you also see on the timeline me live in the kitchen. And so on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or for the most part, I'm always in the kitchen. I really wanted to do this in the kitchen, but I left this phone over here in this very comfortable spot. I was working on my workspace as I'm getting ready to launch some additional things on my platforms, and so I was working on that last night. So, all right, what we do with how to get out of bed, I'm gonna bring up some other things on your screen here. How do we get out of bed? We literally try to find a reason, because everything starts with a reason. Everything. I know as kids and even as adults, we try to act like we don't have a reason for doing what we do. We don't want a reason for, I'm not going to write down reasons, because we've written down reasons before, right? Nope, that we're going to do just reasons, because I think we've done others. And even if it's a double bet, we might need to double bet. Let's talk about reasons, because that's where I went. And these things are not scripted. We start with a blank page. We start with a blank calendar. If you subscribe to a calendar, you're like, Yolanda, okay, I have to have some dates in front of me. I have to have some times. Listen, your boundaries are your boundaries. I like a blank page. I like being able to do and say what I want to say. I mean, that's just, I like waking up when I want to wake up. That's why I didn't say this thing comes on at 8 o'clock in the morning. I didn't say this thing comes on at any time in the morning. It's like, hey, the angel shook me now, anointed and appointed time. That's when you're going to see me go live. I always go live at the anointed appointed times. Okay, but everything happens with a reason. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I said we were going to try to double back on some things just to kind of start to begin some series. And one of the series is that we picked up on the whole alchemist of this thing, reason, season, lifetime. And I first heard that long time ago, in a book by Iyanla Van Zant, however you want to say it. How does she say it? That's what matters. Okay. And I was reading another author, and this particular author, Pearl Clegg, mentioned Iyanla. And I came across, after learning about Pearl, looking for her books, I came across, of course, being of the same genre, and books by women of color, black women, and I was frequenting mostly black bookstores. That's what you're going to see. Those are the motivating women of my time. And, I don't know what Iyanla's doing today. I think she's trying to get back to who she was. That the reality shows. I don't do let me tell y'all something. I don't do reality shows. Yeah, I might watch them. I watch them to talk about them and to warn people. Listen, you just don't get cast for a reality show unless you're good drama. Unless you're a good drama, and unfortunately, 60% of those who watch television, they want mindless television, not mindful. Even though you're only supposed to be all mindful, she hasn't been able to wholly be that. And that stuff, some of that stuff that's on that network, I'm like, no, no, I can't get down with that. That's not the Yana that sparked the will to live in my generation. Okay. So, and I know she's getting ready to go on tour. So hopefully, and let me tell you, these tours are absolutely awesome and amazing because I just had an awesome opportunity, thanks to one of my other podcast partners, to go and see Michelle Obama this weekend. So I'm still sharing clips of that. I'm still hearing Michelle Obama echoing, unfiltered, fearless conversation with our forever FLOTUS First Lady, Michelle Obama. If she is coming to your area, and I know the tour is wrapping up, if she is coming to your area, you guys try to get there. And I know it's very hard to get there because they did a lottery for the tickets here through Ticketmaster. So you had to, nobody even knows now how and who got tickets, how they got them. People who got them don't know how they got them. All they know, we had to be on the website at a certain time. You had to get in, you had to go through a lottery to get in the lottery. And then when the day came to buy the tickets, you had to be ready to buy the tickets and so forth and so on. And only certain people were actually invited to the level to buy the tickets. I'm like, where is my life? So like everybody else, I didn't get into the second lottery or whatever, right? But then I had a friend who I have crossed paths with over and over, and we've been trying to figure out what can we do. And she says, I got tickets. I want to invite you to come along. So I went along, and I said, well, you know what? Rather than us just wait for that day, let's do a podcast leading up to that day. Because, a reason, searching for a reason. Why did this just happen? Maybe we're supposed to work together. It's no coincidence that you got the golden tickets and then you're inviting me, and what we have both done for women in business and for our city and if on these different platforms. I think we're supposed to do something together. And I think when the tickets, between the time of the tickets, I think it might have been at least a month or maybe 2 to 3 months. So we decided, well, let's do a podcast leading up to, and then after we left the event, we did a quick podcast before we actually left the event, and we decided, well, let's continue it a little bit because now you got to have an after conversation. There's a reason for everything. Like I said, good morning there, NYC bloggers. So even though we are prone, society, our friends, our families, the workplace, everything kind of crushes us, steps on us, steps over us because of our reasons. We're all afraid to put our reasons out there. It starts as a child. And one of the reasons it starts as a child, because people are asking you why you do something. I remember one of the first psychology classes I took was like, don't ask why. It's such an intimidating question. Why are you doing that? The first thing you do is you become defensive about it, because one, if you've experienced that person before, like say for instance you're a child, your toddler's doing something, and you want to know why did you do that? Well, I'm not going to tell you because you're going to flip out on me. I'm not going to tell you because you're going to get angry. Our whys are so attached to how people are going to react, as opposed to I did it because it brings me I'm choking on it. It brings me, I don't have anything to drink. It brings me joy. I did it because it brings me joy. I did it because I'm inquisitive. I did it because I wanted to know what happens if I knock that over. I wanted to know what happens if I didn't do this or didn't do that. You want to know, and we have made it so fearful for people. I'm grabbing some lemonade, y'all. I got dry mouth, first of the morning mouth, all that kind of stuff. We make it so that people don't want to tell. All up and down your timeline. You got people out there who are boldly telling you the things that they did. You got people out there afraid to post on their social media. People had awesome Mother's Day. but they don't want to post their mom because some folk got there in their timeline. Cause see, they don't want to post their family because they know they got friends out there going in on people's mothers and families and all that kind of stuff. And I always ask myself, why is it on your timeline? Why are there things or associations? Why have you granted permission to people, places, and things that inhibit you, prohibit you, cause all kind of inhibitions in you? I don't understand that. I can push this button and go live, and I don't care if somebody's sitting over there going, man, she go live every day. I guarantee you somebody has a problem with it. Do I care? Nope. Drink my lemonade. Best homemade lemonade. People are like, well, why are you taking a lemonade through all that process? Why don't you just squeeze the lemon, add some water and sugar? Well, that's been done. I want to do something different. I don't mind. I don't mind taking time for myself. I don't mind giving myself the best beverage ever. I don't mind having quality. Okay, I don't want see-through lemonade. You can't see through my lemonade to the other side because it's made with 100% real fruit juice. It's full of lemon, fresh lemon pulp. It's got lemon zest in it. Okay, that's the lemonade I want to drink. That's the lemonade everybody keep asking, well, can I buy a gallon? No, I don't sell it. I don't want all that liability right now. I'm still researching how to get this done. Don't think I won't ever sell you a bottle of lemonade, right? But, and I'm trying to sell the recipe and the licenses of it first because I don't even want to have to make it. People are like, oh my God, you should sell that lasagna and you should sell... I want to do like Patty. You think I want to be somewhere making pies? No. You think Miss Patty over there, you think she going somewhere in her kitchen or some, no, honey, let me tell you, honey, Miss Patty, and the thing about Miss Patty and the Patty Pies, y'all are so funny. Miss Patty was on tour like probably 2-3 years prior to everybody even knowing about those pies. I was like, wow, we're so simple. We're so simple, y'all. I'm not buying a pie. Miss Patty don't care. She already got her money. You're not giving them money. She already got her money from them. Same thing. I remember this happened with Tyler Perry. When Tyler Perry went and did a licensing deal for his movies. One of the main reasons he did a licensing deal for the movie because he was like, I need my money. I ain't got time to be selling these tapes and you and your auntie and grandma and y'all out there buying the bootleg version where he didn't get a cut. So he went and did a deal. I think one of the first deals for his movies was Walmart and go up in there and buy a tape and go bootleg that, right? He was like, yeah, bootleg theirs, and walked away with his check and then became a billionaire and he became a billionaire because all the bootleg movies, I'm telling you, I ain't never seen a real, everybody that's had to try to sit me down and watch a Tyler Perry in the early days, they never had an original. I'm like, why? What is this? You ain't heard of this? I'm like, you ain't bit more went to the theater. You ain't bit more went to the movies. Where'd you get this from? Their sources, right? Everybody who ever showed you a Tyler Perry movie early on had never been to a Tyler Perry play. They had never been. They bought it at the barbershop, the salon, the barbecue joint, all those other places, right? We already know. But yet they were the best publicity because those were, now that's a business model to this day. Give it to them for free and let them talk about it. They call it an ambassador program today. Everything that comes out that people have done over the test of time, there are people who have decided, well, let's put a layer in there where we can make some money because you're not going to make money off of them. But we got all those people that want it for free. We got to figure out how to fully reimburse those expenses elsewhere. FREE, fully reimburse expenses elsewhere. There's a reason I come on here and do a free podcast. I fully reimburse expenses elsewhere. There's a reason I spend Wednesday in the kitchen cooking live. I fully reimburse expenses elsewhere, right? There's a reason I'm having to sit over here and get ready to launch my agency because I got to fully reimburse expenses. This is the elsewhere, okay? Because there is no elsewhere when you are trying to maintain a certain level of authenticity, truthfulness, and those things, and because I want to lend my platform to other things that go on in our world. It's like, oh, okay, I can't just talk about the hair product because I want to talk about justice at the same time. Oh, well, we don't like the justice talk. We don't like, the talk of addressing this, that, and the other, the politics and all those kinds of things. Okay, well, I will fully reimburse expenses elsewhere. There's a reason for it all. And maybe we'll come back, we'll talk about the season, but in the line, a reason, season, and lifetime. We're just trying to figure out how to get out of bed. We need a reason to get out of bed so that we can enjoy this season. That's as far as it's going right now. Okay, lifetime, let me tell you, by focusing on my reason why I want to do this, my why, okay, and then taking it down to the bite-sized morsels that I can truly digest it, the seasons, I can sit here and tell you, this has worked for me for 17 years. That's pretty much part of a large part of my lifetime. Okay, that is the longest thing that I have done is this. The longest thing that I have done consistently, other than being a mom, happy belated Mother's Day to everybody. The only thing that I have consistently done is this. Thanks to technology, thanks to the growing and changing and trending apps and so forth. I did this 17 years ago when there were no apps. Going live and doing a podcast, y'all don't even understand how hard it was. Right now, it's like, oh, just push the button. I love pushing the button. When I tell you I love pushing the button compared to what we had to do back in the day, oh my God, I'm telling you. In fact, I wish I could tell you, and I do tell you, and I will tell you at the upcoming Better Business Clinic. Okay, I'm getting ready to launch. So let me tell you my reason. My reason for only doing this as a how to get out of bed, because there are other things that I do, and I was trying to get to the third thing, and lo and behold, it is here, and I'm really excited about it. People ask me every day, and let me tell you, it's so funny because I used to do a workshop, and I would always tell them, people want to know, well, what do I do? How do I grow my business? How do I know this stuff? I said, first of all, you look at what people are asking you to do. Because if you're out there having it so many times to say, no, that's not what I do. No, I don't do that. And you're having to make all these different referrals. And this is where I am. I make referrals 24/7 all day long. I wake up, my inbox is full. Do you know a person to do this? Do you do? No, it's always, do you do this? Do you do websites? Do you do platform? We help people establish on their platforms. Do you do PR? Do you do publicity? And I'm like, no. But here's a person. And then, you make the referral, and then they never even say thank you. Some do. Some do, and some even incentivize to thank you. But that's not the practical business model for a lot of people, right? A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people won't do it. A lot of people don't understand how to do it. A lot of people can't do it. For the life of them, they can't do it. I remember sending somebody an enormous amount of business, and I was like, wow. To this day, will walk right by me. And there was a brand, and I'm just gonna call them a brand, just for the sake of being the person that I am. And I would never forget, I was in a restaurant because I was a brand ambassador for the restaurant, and I was sitting there dining, and they came in to do a cold call on this restaurant. And they were trying to, talk up the restaurant, and I heard the name of the brand. The only reason I recognized it was simply because they were tagging me in every post they were doing on social media. And I'm like, I don't know them, but, they tagging me, and I don't know if they had to mention it to the person, to the restaurant owner whom they were talking to, because I heard, oh, Dryerbuzz, yeah, there's Dryerbuzz right there. And the utter shock and awe on their face. And I'm looking like, I don't know them. Well, I knew them because I kept going and removing the tag. And so when I recognized them, and I was like, oh, okay. But they did not come over. They just looked shocked. They didn't say, oh, hi. And I was like, you tag me every day. I said hello. And it was the guilt, like they just robbed the bank kind of thing. And I was like, And me, I'm the naivete person. I don't understand that, right? Because you had to have a reason for it. You had to. I'm like, you came to town, you uprooted from one place, came to this town, and some kind of way you learned that to do business in this town, you needed an association with me. And you tried to establish that association by tagging me in all your stuff, but then you can't bring yourself to say hello. That's your own guilt. That's your own guilt. Guilt is your own. That's your own. We go back, listen to that guilt podcast. We've talked about when you guilt is first of all, it's obvious. You can't hide it because it comes through your pores, your facial expressions, and everything. Right? When you feel guilty, you know how people you watch. Let's say you're watching a performance, and you don't know what to expect on the performance, but you see them acting a certain way. You're like, oh, they must have made a mistake. Something wasn't right there. You don't know that something wasn't right. You just know that they reacted in such a way that denotes that they did something wrong, right? So they had a different intent in tagging me. And so the reaction went on, and next thing you know, they never tagged me again. I'll tell you that much. They never tagged me again. They had no intent of establishing any kind of branding relationship with me. They just wanted to use me. All right. And lo and behold, their time ran out. Time ran out. Time ran out on them trying to use the buzz. All right. All right. Let me go back. I'm trying to open up so I can greet you guys as you come in. So, let me see where we are on time because we are trying to time this thing, trying to get it down to about 30 minutes. And if we have different topics or if we do more multiple layers, then we'll go to about 45. So I talked earlier, I'm going to put down bite size. I'm going to talk a little bit about bite size because oftentimes we try to start from the big picture. Listen, break it down. I remember I did a talk one time about dream smaller. Dream smaller. You know, the big picture, I know everything tells us to dream big, but what happens in that, and one of the reasons why you only see so many make it to the end of that whole dream big, is because everybody else along the way gets overwhelmed. I'm going to put overwhelmed. I'm going to write that down. Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. One of the reasons I'm working on the stuff that I'm working on today is because prior to this day, prior to having the clarity about where I want to go, where my focus should be, when I do decide to all those things that I was saying, no, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. I went back and I'm like, okay, what of those things would I want to commit to? Because it's all about what I can commit to so that I don't get overwhelmed. Because if I get overwhelmed, I'm not going to enjoy it. There's no will be no joy in it. And I don't want to spend my days not having joy. I just don't, right? I don't want to spend my days. And I have started, I'm a serial entrepreneur. And my entrepreneurship or entrepreneurism or ism or whatever is built around events, right? I love gathering. It's so funny I say that word. I look over and I see this plaque that my daughter got me for Christmas that says gather, right? I love gatherings. I love doing it in a formal event, not necessarily, the workshops, the conferences, the webinars, and all those kinds of things, but kind of after all of that, like, okay, let's take what you've done. You've gone to this. Let's make it all make some sense. I'm gonna break it down and make some sense for you. I'm looking for this other remote in case I was watching another program and I wanted to start back and interrupt us. So in those things that people were asking, do you do this and do you do that? I was like, okay, I wrote them down. It's like all the things that people ask, because I always say when you have to tell people what something is not, you have not done a good job telling them what something is. And so I started jotting down all those things, and I said, well, you know what? I love events. I love group sections. I love giving talks. I don't like so much the handheld. Even if I do consulting, I like to come in and tell you how to do it and hand it off. Even if I do a website, I want to show you all the steps I did in creating and managing a website and hand it off. Or if I just like the handoff, right? Because what I have realized I'm great at. Okay, what are you great at? Great at. I'm gonna say great at. What are you great at? Well, the part that I'm great at is the ideas and coming up with it in the branding and seeing the opportunity in it. Opportunity is on every talk that we do, y'all, because that's what it's about. If I go from top to bottom, bottom to top, if I start at opportunity, I'm gonna end at reason. If I start at reason, I'm gonna end at opportunity. We get out of bed because we want opportunities in our days. We get out of bed because we are somebody's opportunities or because we are seeking an opportunity. It's all about the opportunity. Opportunity. You want to meet with an opportunity today. And guess what? If you don't get out of bed, or sometimes even if you don't get out of bed, you still meet with an opportunity. Opportunities are everywhere. Everybody wants an opportunity. Don't think and stop trying to act like you don't. That's the main thing. Stop trying to act like you don't want something. Especially stop trying to act like you don't need something because we all have needs, right? Just stop. That's all I'm saying. Just stop because you're just overwhelmed. That thing that you're great at, what's calling you to do it, you're just overwhelmed. Break it down to bite size. Break it down into bite size. See how I took this thing back to get out of bed? Because like some of us just can't even get out of bed. Can you imagine if somebody out there that can't get out of bed and somebody said, listen, go listen to this podcast. Now imagine if I was so overwhelmed and still trying to figure out, man, I wonder how many times you run into this person, man, one day I'm going to do. My book has been out, I don't know how many years. I don't even, it's probably been out a decade by now. I don't know. And I still run into people, man, I've got to get your book. No, you don't. You don't have to get it because you're obviously not, it's not meant for you. Or I got to go to your website. I don't even have the website anymore. What are you talking about? Right? I don't even do that anymore. So you obviously don't want that opportunity because time and time again, you've had my attention. You've been in my presence, right? And so you don't have to keep saying it because guess what? I know if you don't know, it's not going to happen. It's really like not going to happen. But do know I don't have the expectation of it happening and we have to keep moving. We have to keep moving. But reason, overwhelmed. For the most part, too many people in this world right now are overwhelmed and dealing with life. Life is hard. Life is hard. And some people said, I saw it posted. I don't know if it was a post or if I heard it on something I watched yesterday. And I don't know if I read it or if I heard it, but I really want to know if I read it or if I heard it. Because if I read it, but I remember distinctly a voice that said it. So I must have heard it. And it said that, no, I read it because I'm seeing red and white. It says something about, it went back to that thing about your friends don't support you. And it said one of the reasons your friends don't support you because your friendship is based on the trauma that you guys have in common. And so your desire to heal from your traumas, they don't support that. Because you healing from your trauma, it puts a gap in the friendship, right? Because that's what we do. We look around all day trying to find somebody to co-sign. And that's human nature, right? Co-sign on the good, the bad, and the ugly. 60% are stuck on the ugly and the bad, right? 30% are on the good. 10% are just unbothered. Absolutely unbothered. One of the things I loved about going to Michelle Obama and listening to her in her own words, that's one of the reasons why I was so particular about getting the audio version to becoming Michelle Obama, is because I really wanted to hear it in her own words. I am so glad that she narrated her own book because a lot of the audio books are not narrated by the author, and some of them shouldn't. Some people should not narrate their book. Let somebody else read it because there are some voices that we're very familiar with. I'll never forget, and I'm not even going to mention. I'm not going to do that today. But I just remember there's one author out there. I love her stuff, and there's a guy too. Oh, I'll never forget. I'm going to say one name, Cornel West. Cornel West is like an oracle, right? Orator, right? Is that one oratorical orator, right? You love, even though you don't really like him, and he comes off as very bitter, very petty. He has there's a cadence to his speak, right? And so I go to get his book, but when they recorded the book, they changed up the speed, because I imagine when they recorded Michelle Obama, having listened to her this weekend, I know the cadence in which she's reading her book. You can tell they kind of probably slowed it down or had to read it at a certain speed. No, I think they actually slowed it down because I sped it up. And she sounds like you speed it up and you're like, oh, there's the sister. I know, right? So I listened to it at a faster speed, not too fast, just what like a one and a half, one two, one and a quarter, sped it up. Because it's very slow if you just read it in the at the 100%. And so when I got Cornell, I thought listening to his book would be very much like his speeches, and it was like this monotone. I was like, oh no, I can't even listen to this. And I might go back and still have it, of course, if I bought it on my Kindle app, and I might go back and speed it. And I think now that I'm listening more, even some of the podcasts that I listen to, speeding it up. That's how people are absorbing. That's how people are absorbing all this information. And I know you hear people like, "Oh, I read this book and I read that book." Listen, that's how they are absorbing this stuff, y'all. I'm telling you. And one of the things I know for me, I don't like to read a lot if I'm writing a lot because you don't want that creeping into what you're doing, especially if you say something and you don't get attribute it to where you got it from. And a lot of times you don't realize it, but because there are certain things you can hear that'll quickly become part of your speak, because that's how we learn, right? Or some of us. And so you just have to be mindful of that. But back to reason, bite size, overwhelm, great at. What are you great at? In opportunity. It still all comes down to the opportunity. Do you need a has anybody ever said to you, do you need a reason? Some things, it's sad that people need a reason, but for a lot of people they're just not going to do it unless what's the reason? Especially if you're trying to do this for a business. Like, people know, why aren't people buying this? Why can't I sell this? You're not giving them the right reason to buy it. You're not taking enough time to find out the reason that they need it. And today, especially in social media, it's about the influence. People are buying things because of the influence. And that's age-old marketing. That has not changed. The only change in that is there are new groups that are buying into that kind of philosophy. That I'm going to buy this simply because of the influence to it, right? There were a number of groups like they weren't seeking influence, but in the days of social media, like I'm so glad the one thing I'm so glad about social media is it has sparked a level of parenting and parental involvement. Okay, schools should be ecstatic right now that there are great trends for parents to talk about being involved in school, or for parents to just show their parenting, right? It's like, taking pictures with your kids and just being involved or wanting to talk about things, a trending topic. And there's some things we've seen on social media that, okay, those people should not have children. Those people should never have children. Those children should be brought out of that home and this, that, and the other. But at the same time, I think I will always say that there's more good in the world than there is bad. I will always say that social media is still at this point more good than there is bad. And bad is louder. It's absolutely louder. But if it starts to creep into your world, you can lock it out. You can absolutely lock it out. You just have to figure out where you grant it the permissions, where's the access, where's the entry point, where is the entry point for things that are coming into your world that you don't want in your world. Where is the entry point to that? All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to get out of here because 9 o'clock. I have some deadlines today, and I need to, I guess, get with Angela to see if we're doing a becoming podcast or if we want to take a week and just kind of digest all of the things. And we might still go ahead and do one. And I don't know if time changes for her or not. So let me get with her. If you do go to the timeline, remember you're going to see several types of content because I remember I used to like, oh, I'm only going to do this on this username and page and platform and this over here and this over there. And you end up diluting your brand. And so I ended up having to bring it all back and so forth. And that's where I am right now. And so on this timeline, there's there's three things that you're going to see. Well, two podcasts, and then in the kitchen. But two types of podcasts. There's a daily podcast and a weekly podcast. And then there is a weekly session of live cooking. And then now you're going to see the actual events. I am saying yes to speak. Oh, no, the third one that you see is Dryerbuzz in the city. Like I said, for 17 years, I was a blogger. I blog particularly hyper local about and in and around Atlanta and beyond. I'll say that. Because I really love the cities that are outside the perimeter. You know, in Atlanta, in Georgia, we have this thing, or in and around Atlanta, I won't say Georgia. We have inside the perimeter, outside the perimeter. And I've explored an amazing life outside the perimeter as well as inside the perimeter. And so that on the blogging level, you're seeing more of that coming as well. So the videos that you see are usually when I'm in the city. The audio is usually podcasts. And then the kitchen live is also something that you will see. Those are recorded live. And then I make YouTube videos to go after that. And there's a reason for that, because it brings me joy. It gives me joy. That's my reason. And you're going to see my face when I said that, because I can see a reflection of myself. It's like that wasn't a joy face. It was an affirmation, but it was like, that wasn't a joy face. It was a revolution face. And you know what? Joy is a revolution. You almost have to have a revolution, especially for women, and particularly for women of color. Our joy is our revolution. Okay. I think that's it. I really do. I really do at this point. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if I need to make any other announcements. Once again, I always have to say thank you to, let me see if I can combine this. Wait, I got to get this off. I'll tell you, I got too much going on there. All right, let me see. Let me get that off there. All right. I got to thank Natural Soap by Zakia. If you want to get out of bed and feel cleaner longer, no matter what parts of the body you bathe on a regular basis. I ain't laughing about that. But y'all, I swear to you, that was the funniest conversation, one of the funniest conversations I have seen on social media. People talking about the parts of the body that they bathe on the regular. Even I'm like, but you're in the shower. You're in the tub. You're in the shower. I don't understand not bathing the full body. But, you know, I understand. And it wasn't even, listen, it wasn't, the sad part about it wasn't that there's less water pressure. They want to conserve Mother Earth. None of that. It wasn't, I just do a quickie, whatever, because you can take the water off and go ahead and turn the water off and bathe. No, it was all reasons beyond belief. It was reasons beyond belief. But if you are like me, you want to luxuriate in your bath or your shower, or you just want to stay cleaner longer, you want to feel cleaner, you want to have to clean the bathroom less because you don't want any soap scum, you want to use some natural soap, or if you want to learn to make your own soap, because she's also has live soap school where she shows you how to make natural soap. And the good thing about it is she's going to be demonstrating how to do this on all these different platforms this weekend at Soap Convention. So you want to keep an eye on that. But definitely go to Natural Soap by Zakia. Use your code Dryerbuzz so that you can get 10% off your soap. Now, everybody knows I like getting the sample packs, and I got to go. Well, actually, I got an order coming in. So I got to watch the mailbox because we're going to do an unboxing here in just a couple of days. As an ambassador, I'm getting a box of some things to show you guys. So I will be doing that. I'll be watching the mail, and I might want to go check the mail because it may be there. I like getting the sample pack. If you have not used natural soap before, first question is, does it lather? Honey, you have not had a soap that lathers as well as feels and smells as good as natural soap. I like getting the sample pack. I always get 2 sample packs because for some reason, whoever goes to the mailbox, by the time the package gets to me, there's bars missing. Okay. I got bars missing. Okay. But I like getting the sample pack because if she has created a new variety or a new fragrance or testing the product, it's in there and you get to try it, and you'll get a bar that you probably would never have thought about buying because you're tied to the bars that you like. Like I love the tea tree. I love the bars that she has with the tea tree, the eucalyptus. I love there's the peppermint. Oh my God. The triple butter blend, which has all the different butter oils and so forth, the cocoa butter and all those kinds of things. And so every time I see one, I'm like, man, I want to try that one. But then you always go to what you know. But so that's why I love the sample, because you get to try a variety. And I always get 2-packs because somebody in the house goes, well, I like that bar and I like that bar. And we don't share bars up in here. Okay. So go to Natural Soap by Zakia and thank Natural Soap. Even if you just go over there and say, Zakia, I listen to Dryerbuzz. Thank you so much for supporting the How to Get Out of Bed podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the How to Get Out of Bed podcast. I don't know what she would do if she wasn't there when I wake up to help me get clarity in my day. And that's what we need so that we can continue these things, our podcast and so forth and so on. All right, guys, I'm going to go hit this deadline. I've got to post some things today. That's going to be absolutely awesome, amazing, and exciting. All right. And thank you all so much. Ooh, right at the 45. But listen, I need you to do me just one more favor. You know I got just one more favor. Let's hope it plays.
Go now to Dryerbuzz.com and follow @Dryerbuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.